I want to give a huge shout out and a thank you to my sponsor, P2 Collectibles and Gentleman Sports Cards, located at 204 East McGalliard Road here in Muncie, Indiana. So next time you're here in Muncie, let us know. Come give us a visit. Hey, what is up, y'all? It's Dawson Plus 2 TCG, and I'm coming at y'all with a potential new segment. But for now, it's just going to be a discussion about what happened to certain archetypes. Like I said, this could be a potential segment because there's certain archetypes, certain decks that did well at one point in time, but it's either they got power creeped or something was just missing from the engine. They had a lot of potential, but, you know, shit happens. Power creeps happen. And one of those decks that I want to talk about, or engines, is Traptrix. Yes. Traptrix have a lot of cool effects, had a lot of potential, but has a lot of normal summons, and as we know, normal summons can't really function on their own anymore because things just special summon way too fast. I mean, we see things like Pendulum Magicians. Well, really, nothing is really fucking with Pendulum Magicians anymore, but then we see things like Dinos in the past. We saw things like Zoo in the past. Decks that are doing really well special summon a lot, and they only really need one normal summon, but this deck kind of needs multiple normal summons to get your engine really going, and they don't have something where you can just like normal summon, special summon a Traptrix from deck on its own. I guess like we'll talk about some of the supporter cards that do things like that, but it just had kind of the lack of special summoning, I guess, is what this deck is missing. It has, like, I think, five support cards, but they're pretty good. They're pretty good. For example, the new one, Mantis, that we just got, it adds a trap hole to hand, and then it targets one of your set spell traps and sends it back to the hand, and then sets one spell trap from your hand. And that is during either player's turn. So that's pretty cool, but it's not as relevant as you would think. It kind of only works with cards like Dianea, where you need to worry about the card getting banished on your next end phase, which is pretty cool. It's a cool card. It can either add you a Mantis, or it can either add you Mermelio if you open it, or it can add you a Dianea, because if Mantis dies, and Dianea can just special summon it. Which brings us to Dianea. When it's normal, you get to target a Traptrix in your grave and special it in defense, but when it's special summoned, you target a normal trap hole in your grave, set it to your side of the field, and then banish it during the next turn of your end phase if it hasn't already left the field yet. And that's where Mantis kind of comes into play to start doing some like cool loops. Next level meta shit, right? Not really, but that's what I'm talking about. The deck just is missing a few key ingredients to making it a lot better, because decks that are really good add a lot of cards, which this deck can potentially do, just not as quickly as other decks, like Mermelio. When it's normal, you add a normal trap card to your hand. Now, there's a lot of trap holes. I mean, like Adhesion Trap Hole. There's a lot of weird ones, but the relevant ones are Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare, Bottomless, Time Space, Floodgate, Treacherous, Trap Holes. All of those are trap holes. And those are the relevant ones where you're getting the most utility out of even casual decks. And then when it's special summon, you get to target a spell or trap your opponent controls and pop it. Now, that would be pretty nuts if it was yours as well, because Hat would be a lot better, because then Mermelio at 1, not Mermelio at 1, Moral Talk at 1, you can just, like, pop it on your end. Like, if you set it, I guess, pop it. There's just a lot of synergy, and it's good that that card only allows you to target one of your opponent's spell and traps and pop it. But Mermelio is probably one of the strongest ones because it has two really good effects. Normal search, and then when it's special, that pops a card. So it gives you a +1 either way. Moving on to Atrax. These aren't like the greatest ones. Atrax just lets you activate normal trap cards from your hand, or normal trap hole trap cards from your hand, which is cool because it kind of gives you that. Was it Opabina? Yeah, I think Paleozoic Opabina. It did it before that, but it isn't played as much because it's hard to keep these things on the field. It kind of has a magic bullet effect where you need to keep the monsters on the field for it to really be relevant. And that is the case with Atrax. Same thing with Nepenthes. I think that's how you say her name. Nepenthes. But when a trap hole is activated, you can add to your hand or special summon a Traptrix from deck. So that one has like the most potential. It's just you have to activate a trap hole, and Nepenthes has to stay up on the field. So there's a lot of potential in that card. It's just that that oomph isn't quite there. And then we have Traptrix for Flasia, which is the card that the deck needed, but it just needs more support monsters. We have a ton of support traps, that's great, but we need more support monsters. Konami, let's see you do something. Maybe give us a Traptrix Link monster that does something like that. I don't know. That'd be really cool. But all in all, the deck doesn't need more trap holes per se, because there is so much utility in the list of trap holes. Like I was saying earlier, it needs more. Maybe a new rank 4 or a Link monster, to be honest, would be a little more relevant. Or just another effect monster like you gave us with Mantis. That would be very cool, Konami. Like I said, cool deck, just missing a little bit of stuff. So let me know what y'all think and what you think actually happened to Traptrix. This is Alex from Plus 3 TCG, signing out, y'all.